All right, guys, it has been a rough couple days, okay? It's been a rough couple days for a lot of us. I've talked to a lot of people in the last 2 or so days, and I'm going to try to do my best here. I'm still not 100% right, but I'm going to try to do my best here. And I want to talk about something, well, I am going to talk about something that is, in my opinion, pretty disturbing. And it's not only happening throughout the country, it's also happening here quite a bit in Massachusetts. I also don't know how long the video will be. I'll promise I'll do my best to try to, speak as clearly as possible and try to wrap this up as quickly as I can. But first of all, before I get into what is happening here, I just want to tell you a little bit about the day that I went live, okay? I couldn't really articulate what I would have liked to have said. I was really shaken up that day, okay? And honestly, I don't even know what I may say now about this, but I have one clear message that I want to say. Setting all that aside, I'm really glad that I shared that moment with all of you because I've really come to realize something, and that is that speaking out isn't just about giving an opinion, okay? I think it's about building something, and it's about building something bigger. I think it's really about building a like-minded community. I've met so many of you guys either, through this channel or whatever it may be. I've built a lot of friendships. I've built a lot of alliances, and I'm truly grateful for that. But let's be real for a second here. Speaking up on a lot of the things that are happening here in Massachusetts, it has cost me things too. It's cost me, business opportunities, some relationships with friends, and you name it, okay? But still, I think that what we've gained collectively as a whole, I think that's far more important. I think it's far more important than that. Because in my opinion, I think the worst thing isn't losing some money or losing some fake friends or whatever it is. I think it's feeling alone or feeling like you don't have a voice. And I'm not just talking about physically alone here, but I'm talking about being mentally isolated or cut off. Your very thoughts make you an outsider inside of this society that we live in here, specifically here in Massachusetts. And I felt like that a very long time. And I think a lot of people feel like that as well. I've talked about this before, this, and I don't want to repeat the same thing over and over again. But, unless you have approved opinions here, you risk losing your family, losing your friends, losing your job, or losing your colleagues. And speaking about losing your job, that's a little bit about what we're going to talk about in a few minutes here, okay? And we'll get into that. But now here is what I think the big difference is. We are not just losing levels of social acceptance anymore. We are losing people. Literally, lives are being taken right in front of us. And anybody could go and disagree with Charlie Kirk. You could even despise him, all of the above, right? But obviously, violence is never the right answer. All violence does, it really doesn't win arguments. All it does is silence arguments. And it doesn't create anything that is good. Okay, violence is never good. And I think that was the point. Okay, I think that was the overall point. And I think that's exactly what the person that killed Charlie actually wanted. I think they wanted fear. And trust me, I was there, okay? I was there. And I really think he wanted every one of us to stop and think that, maybe I shouldn't speak up, or maybe I should just keep quiet, or maybe I should just go and hide. And I really did feel that way, okay? When this first happened, that's my initial feelings. And I think this was more so about the collateral damage of political violence. It doesn't just kill the messenger. It tries to kill the message. But I want to be very, very clear about something. I'm not going anywhere. I spent almost a year of my life in the shadows on my deathbed back in 2014 when I had the issue with my liver. I'm not going back into those shadows again. Period. It's not going to happen. And I talked to my family about this. I've talked to multiple people over the last few days. And even my wife, she finally came up and said, I need to talk louder, I need to talk stronger, and I need to talk braver than ever before. And that's exactly what I intend to do to the best of my ability, because I really feel like we are fighting a war today of good versus evil. So with that being said, let me show you some of the fallout that is happening right here in Massachusetts. Because, here's the issue. There are people that are shaping the minds of our young children here, and they are celebrating this political assassination. And that is far from free speech, guys, okay? This is an all-out moral collapse, okay? And that's when you cross the line. I don't care if somebody doesn't like them or, that doesn't matter to me, but they are crossing the line. And do you remember, and I've said this multiple times before, I've said these people think they have a monopoly on what's morally right and morally wrong. And well, as it turns out, their moral compass only points in one way, and that is straight at their enemies, okay? And that is the way that it goes. Because the second someone that they despise is gunned down, guess what happens? That mask that these people wear day in and day out in the public, that suddenly starts to shed, okay? That mask has finally come off. And suddenly, or more so conveniently, the same people that are out here trying to preach about kindness and are trying to preach about inclusion are out here doing a victory lap on social media over a horrific assassination. And the very same people lecturing us about hate are the first ones to celebrate it. How does that happen? You can't make this stuff up, guys, okay? It's horrible. It's absolutely horrible. And here's how it goes. There are teachers, there are staff members, there are politicians, there are public employees. But one of my main concerns here is with these classrooms, okay, full of our kids looking to these same people for guidance. That is a big problem. This is an absolute travesty, in my opinion, and it is happening right now in front of us. So I figured today, beyond just sitting here and talking for the next 15 minutes, I figured, you know what? I'll share my screen with you and show you exactly what is happening. Okay. I don't know if you saw this. Maybe you did. Maybe it's been on the news. I've been so busy and inundated between phone calls, emails, and text messages. It's just been tough. Okay. So here's let's say bad actor number one, Samantha Marengo. I think I pronounced that right. I don't really care. A teacher at King Elementary posted a video online appearing to celebrate Charlie Kirk being assassinated. This person teaches your children. And here is the video, okay? Somebody singing about Charlie Kirk's death, and then they're zooming in on the word dead, all right? Now, again, I will say this. I want to be absolutely positively clear about what I'm going to tell you. I have absolutely no problem with people, as I said earlier, hating Charlie, hating whoever it is, all right? But it really crosses the line when you are celebrating the death of somebody. And remember, not only are a lot of these people celebrating the death of Charlie Kirk, but they are looking forward to who's next on the list. There are legit lists that are being created as we speak of who they want to see next. And it's sick, man. It is absolutely sickening. And, oh, here we go. Apparently, this teacher's on leave. It says, as a district, we are committed to fostering a safe and respectful environment for everyone. We do not condone violence or hateful behavior in any form. While the law prevents us from discussing specific personal matters, the employee is on leave pending an internal review. He said in a written statement, be assured that we are addressing the situation in full compliance with the applicable laws, regulations, and policies. Now, again, people are entitled to their opinion, just like I am. But when your opinion is based on celebrating the death of somebody, I think that is just completely inappropriate. And I don't know what grade this person teach. I don't know any of these things, but like if you have kids that are following or students that are following their social media, they see the teacher do something like this. How do you think that influences them? And that is one of the big problems here in Massachusetts. And before I get into the next one, let me just say this. So the day that Charlie Kirk was shot, killed, assassinated, I was sitting with Michael King of the Massachusetts Family Institute. We were literally talking about, and again, I apologize, don't know how long the video will be, but we were literally talking about religion. We were talking about family. We were talking about tradition. We were talking about culture. And we were talking about these things that were happening at schools. And it just so happens, as soon as I get out of the damn podcast in Westford, I look at my phone, and my phone has all of these messages, okay? All of these phone calls, all of these emails of what the hell is going on, okay? And that's what I walked into. The ride home, after that was terrible. You want to know why the ride home was terrible? Because number one, I felt absolutely horrified for his family. Look, I have a wife and 2 young kids. I've been together with my wife for 18 years, believe it or not. I'm 40 years old. 18 years, almost right out of high school. So I'm thinking about his family. Not only am I thinking about his family, but I'm also on the back end thinking to myself, what the hell am I going to tell my wife when she gets home? No, I'm not saying that anything that I'm not even in the same realm as Charlie was, okay? But it doesn't matter how big or how small you are, especially if you are in or behind enemy lines, like a lot of us are, okay? So I was worried, and that's why I was shook getting on, going live that day. All right. I was shook. Now I'm not as shaken as I am. I'm still a little beat up, and I'm still like, I'm foggy, right? Like my head is foggy, even my wife. But yeah, the fallout from this just mentally has been really crazy. I hope it goes away eventually. But anyway, let's get into the next one. Okay. Meet Nathan Gadens, who works at Harvard and MIT. It says, can someone send me the video of Charlie Kirk being shot and his blood gushing out of his neck? I need something to brighten my mood next time the ibuprofen isn't doing enough. How could you possibly say these things? It's just sickening. It's sickening. And again, it isn't necessarily saying I don't like what Charlie Kirk stands for. It is celebrating his death. And I think it's inappropriate. Again, regardless if you agreed with everything Charlie said or disagreed, right? It's just, it's not good, guys. There was other ones too. Hang on one second. Now, here's one that, in my opinion, is not as bad, okay? This was Anne Marie Donahue, a teacher at Wachusett Regional High School in Massachusetts, posted on her Instagram saying, we are not offering sympathy moments after Charlie Kirk was shot. That one isn't quite as bad, okay? Because they aren't necessarily, I mean, it's still bad, okay? Don't get me wrong. I'm not saying it's not bad. I'm just saying it's not as bad as actually celebrating the death of Charlie, okay? That was another one. I could go on and on forever, by the way. I'm not going to, I don't want to make this video a half an hour long. Here's another one. Mara Dolan, a sitting Massachusetts governor's council, publicly called the late Charlie Kirk's racist, sexist, homophobic, and argued that flag shouldn't be lowered in his honor. Now, that's an opinion, okay? It is disrespectful. There's no doubt about it. Absolutely. I'm not as worried about this. But the problem here, actually, I'll go into this. This is on Boston's subreddit, okay? You should see some of the comments on here, okay? These are people that are, these are the same people that are voting for Michelle Wu, more than likely, okay? And these people are absolute lunatics. They're absolute lunatics because they're trying to justify, a lot of them are trying to justify what happened, okay? And they are celebrating what happened. Okay, it's insane to me. And this isn't only in Boston, because you could even look at the Massachusetts subreddit. Okay, the Massachusetts subreddit has the same things. And remember, a lot of these posts had to be locked. Okay, you want to know why they locked these posts? They didn't lock these posts because of the nimrods and the nitwits that are advocating for Charlie's death. They probably locked this because of the people that were trying to be as level-headed as possible and, were trying to support Charlie at this time. The people that are the moderators of both the Massachusetts subreddit and the Boston subreddit, I don't even know. I mean, they're really out there. Okay, let me put it to you that way. They're really out there. Please don't do what I did and don't go here. Don't go here, because you will get very disappointed, okay? That's all that it takes. Now, I met Chester at an event. Very, very nice guy. Chester had a whole bunch of people on here too. Let's see if I can find them. Let's see here. Oh my God. But it just keeps on going. Okay, the fundraising chair for the Medway Education PTO. This is what she said. F this dude, and if you were saying otherwise, go ahead and unfriend me and stop talking to me. And if you want to try to guilt me for lack of empathy, I'm fine with that too. I'm a Latina woman living in a country of genocidal. Then leave. Then why are you staying here? It's insane. I mean, these people are absolutely crazy. Let's see if I can find another. Oh, this one was awful. Okay. Lowell Barber fired after Iceland Studio featured their grotesque, here, where is it at? Let's see if we could find the actual poll. Here it is. Quinn Dillon of Massachusetts, an outspoken LGBTQ supporter who works at Professional Barbers of Lowell. Quinn posted mocking remarks about the death of Charlie Kirk. Here's the irony. Just 3 months ago, the owner of that same barbershop announced that Trump supporters in MAGA gear, I remember this one, were no longer welcome, claiming he wanted to create a safe space for LGBTQ clients free of violence. Okay, well, would you look at that? The so-called safe space is now employing someone openly celebrating violence. Can liberals start learning how to aim? What is so hard about a headshot on a sitting target? It's sick, man. These are people that walk amongst us, okay? These are people that walk amongst us. Here's another one. Sean Harris of Massachusetts, an art teacher at Beechmont Elementary in Revere Public Schools. He wrote, "You can't preach continuous hate and expect not to be shot in the neck, period." Teachers, guys. Another one. Lori Davis, a Massachusetts teacher, a teacher at Sharon High School and a former teacher in Middleborough, openly celebrated the death of conservative voice Charlie Kirk on social media. What did she say here? She said, "Never one to celebrate, but so long, you piece of shit. Now I'm just pissed that they're making this fucking asshole a martyr." I mean, it's oh, here's another one. I could just keep scrolling, okay? I'm not going to waste your time. You could go look at these pages. Zachary Stewart, the assistant director of admissions at Hampshire College in Massachusetts, has come under scrutiny following a social media post that mocked the death of conservative activist Charlie Kirk. Let's see what he said. "I'll say this once about Charlie Kirk. The man was a bastion, a fountain, a complete and utter tower of racism, homophobia, transphobia, xenophobia, and so much more. I will never mourn the loss of a man like that ever." This one, again, not like, that's fine. But at least he's not at least I don't think he is. Let me see. He's not advocating for his death, right? But here you go. Who knows who this is? Sam Gray. I only mourn the fact that it wasn't Donald instead. Oh, same. Here we go. There you go. Right here. Same. This is what we're dealing with here. And this is like, I've said this before, when these people, this is what happens, and I certainly don't have a monopoly on what's morally right and morally wrong, but these people do, okay? These people think that what they believe in is absolutely right. And when you're in a position that you are advocating for instances like this, what kind of world are we living in, really? I mean, these people walk amongst us. It's really a sad state of affairs. And I bet, and I don't really have the time to do this, but I bet if you were to go through all of these social media posts of all of these people, the majority of these people are in education. And that is the point of this video, okay? That is the point of this video. Because if this is how these people think, could you imagine what is actually being taught at these schools, or what beliefs they're bringing into the classroom with them? And I'm not discrediting all teachers here, okay? I have a lot of friends that are teachers, both in the college level and below. And it's just despicable, in my opinion, because these people have so much influence over these young kids, no matter if they're college age kids or even, of course, younger and more impressionable when they're in grade school or high school, right? I think that Massachusetts needs to do better. I honestly think that I really think that Governor Maura Healey, somebody needs to be the adult in the room, and somebody needs to step up and release something saying that, we are not a state that advocates for this type of behavior. Somebody needs to do something, okay? Somebody needs to speak up and do something, because otherwise, I mean, I'll just be honest with you. A lot of these people, they may not have a career after stuff like this, okay? They may not have a career. It's very bad for them. And not only is it very bad for them personally, but again, it's bad for the people that they educate. That's the point that I wanted to make with this video. So apologize, this is so damn long. I really am. But it has been a tough couple of days, guys. And I'll just end with this. If you made it this far, congratulations, okay? I just want to end with this. So I've talked to so many people, a lot of you guys too. I've talked to so many people people that are, friends of mine, friends of the channel, people that I've, built relationships with, alliances with. And a lot of these people I like to confide in and I like to talk to outside of my own family, right? And everybody had the same opinion, on this entire instance was like, I was sitting here thinking, do I delete my channel? Like, what do I do? Like, that's literally what I was thinking when I'm driving home. But the fact is, I think that these chain of events are just going to end up creating, I think they're going to end up creating more people in the space that want to advocate for what they believe in, whether it's right or whether it's wrong. Nobody should have to live in fear of their opinion, okay? I mean, that's completely inappropriate. It's completely inappropriate. Anybody, I don't care if it's left, right, center, it doesn't matter to me. They should all have the right to their opinion. Now, whether somebody agrees with them or not, that's a different story, okay? Totally different story. But you don't go shooting people you disagree with, okay? It doesn't prove anything at all. All it does is try to prove the point that you're trying to silence people. And then not only are you trying to, as I said earlier, not trying to only silence the messenger, but you're trying to silence the message. And I don't think that's ever going to go away. It's been awful the last couple of days. I'm telling you, my brain, I'm currently in a position where just my day-to-day activities, like, I don't know what it is. I feel like it's like an out-of-body experience of what happened, right? It's hard for me to, I'm just having an issue putting things together in my head. And maybe this maybe this video is an example of that. Maybe this, this could very well be an example of that. I'm trying to do the best that I can here. But the same thing with my wife. Like, we're like walking around confused. You know what I'm saying? Walking around confused is the only way that I could put it. So, anyway, guys, if you made it this far, thank you. And again, I truly appreciate all of you guys, your support in me, the support in the channel and all this stuff. And again, I'm not going anywhere. I'm not going to go and hide in the shadows, scared of people because of something that I say or my opinion on something. And I'm not always right, but I'm not always wrong either. They're just my opinion. Okay, I'll see you guys on the next one. Hopefully, maybe I'll get back to reality and back to normal by Monday of next week. I'm probably not going to film on the weekend, but look out for that podcast that I did with Michael King. It was a fantastic interview, and then we walked into what I would call a minefield once we got to our cell phones. So, anyway, guys, I'll see you on the next one. Bye bye.